Hi, Jen here, Positive Plus Dog Training. So here we are today, and we're going to do some trick training. So welcome to Tricks and Fun Things with Jen and Pepper, and sometimes Xavier too. So as promised from our last training session on Saturday, I want to come back to the cleanup. Put your toys away. So we'll do exactly that, but we're going to add a couple of really fun things to it as well. We're going to work on off and leave it with tricks. So off and leave it, we're going to work on cookie on paw, and you'll get a little snippet of our early stages of training with cookie on nose with Pepper. So, and just a little sidebar, the reason why I love trick training so much is because it is a really good way to make things fun and playful, make us feel fun and playful as well as our dogs while they're learning important life skills. So just a little insight with Pepper. Nail trimming and paw handling has become a bit of a challenge in the last year or so due to some health issues that Pepper has had that's caused some of her nails to break really short to the quick, close to the quick, and therefore we're kind of still readjusting to that and teaching Pepper how to be okay with nail clips. So you'll come along with that journey with me as well in our grooming videos. But for now, a really nice side note to think about when you're thinking about trick training is we can use them to cause some joyful play during some tougher training, like handling paws for nail clipping. So with Pepper, this is a great thing for us to reintroduce. You'll see that she is a little bit sensitive about her paws as we get closer to them, but that's okay because this is one way for her to playfully relax. Yeah, so we'll have a look at those kinds of ideas as well as we go along. So let's get started, and let's see, is Pepper ready for training? Yes, she is. So that's one of Pepper's favorite things to do is she's learned how to touch her light that makes some fun noise. So yes, she's ready, and we'll take you through that as well. That'll be on our next lesson as well, a little preview. But let's get into our training for the off and leave it. Oh, sorry, I'm coming back to clean it up. So how to hold a toy, or we might start with an item that's not quite a toy just yet. You will find that with your dog, it might be easier to start with a spoon, or maybe like a wooden spoon, or it could be something plastic that your dog doesn't see as a toy. So maybe a plastic rod or something like that, something simple. A piece of PVC piping is not a bad idea because you're not going to leave your dog alone with it. We're just slowly teaching our dogs to hold it in their mouth. So often an object that they are not familiar with as a toy is a really good place to start. And I will show you what that looks like. Welcome to trick training. So today we have, we're actually going to get to the steps to teaching our pups how to put their toys away. So I did promise that was coming, and here it is. My daughter Serena is joining us with this, and here's Pepper. So first things first. So we are going to pick an item that Pepper is likely to pick up, or likely to open her mouth to it anyways. And maybe something that's not so exciting to her that she can't resist playing. So I am going to start with something very bland, but that she's going to want to check out because I haven't actually offered this to her yet. So all I did was I took a toilet paper roll. So again, using my recycles, I really like to do that. And I just flattened it. So she's definitely had paper towel rolls as food toys before, if you watch some of my other shows. But this one, I've just flattened, so it's really easy. So what I'm going to start with, I'm going to focus on Pepper. What I'm going to start with is as I offer Pepper, as I present the item, I am going to click and reward if Pepper makes a movement towards, and especially if she opens her mouth. I want to make sure, there we go, that I'm so you'll notice that the first one, Pepper got a click for just moving towards the paper towel roll, and then she just started trying a couple of things that she knows, and maybe even just trying things, period. And at that point, it's important that I make sure that I stay still. I have two options. I can stay still and wait for her to make another choice, and what you'll see what happens because she doesn't make another choice quick enough, then I just calmly remove the item, and I will reboot by placing it back. You can also opt to get up and move and start again. It kind of depends on the kind of dog you have. Sometimes that distracts them, and sometimes that gets them more excited, so it's harder for them to get back to focus. And that's kind of the thing with Pepper. She is a Boston Terrier with a brain that's jumping all over the place. So I just tend to stay very still and end the game if she's not making the right choice and start over. And I'll do that maybe 3 times before I call it quits and try again later, and maybe rethink what I was doing that might need to change to make it easier. Rewarding her moving her mouth towards and opening her mouth, not pawing it or anything else, any of her other tricks that she knows. There we go. So there's a little bit of open mouth movement there. Take it away and I offer it again. Okay. So she's kind of got the idea that she's opening her mouth. Good. Excellent. So from this angle that you're looking at, it is a little bit challenging to see that her mouth is just opening a mere bit, just a little bit. And that's all that you need to do to start with. And you'll see I'm going to switch over to another item now. Reason being is because sometimes it's helpful to see which item works really well. If you start with one item and it's going amazingly well, your dog is opening their mouth and putting their mouth right on, or they're just opening your mouth and you just call it quits right there, there's no silliness about it, then that's wonderful. Stick with that item, don't change it at all. If you find that the item that you're working with is not necessarily triggering the right choice from your dog, then you can try something different. I have a couple of different items that I had with me when I first started this training with Pepper earlier. So there's that flat toilet paper roll. With a bigger dog, a paper towel roll might be handy, easier for them to see and to put their mouth on. You might find that something kind of like this. So these are some of the smaller items that I have in my puppy kit for puppies to talk about for chewing. So Pepper doesn't actually know these, which is kind of handy. Not like when I present her with a toy she's used to playing with. Unless she is calm and focused, it's hard to get her to do anything else at that point. So I tried an item that might be more likely to encourage her to open her mouth and chew it. But I want to make sure also, if I'm going to choose an item like this and there is a possibility of chewing, or if I have some chewing action, that I curve that as soon as possible to help Pepper learn that chewing is not what I'm looking for. It is opening your mouth and placing it on. And I'll even take it as far in this lesson as very lightly removing my hand. You will see that when I'm lightly removing my hand, it might be a little bit challenging for you to see that I'm doing that in the beginning, again, because of the angle. So I just want you to be able to see that Pepper has her mouth on the bone, and then when she's holding it nicely, I just start to, that's all I'm doing, is very slightly removing my hand until I will eventually remove it all together. But at first I just have it there because it's very quick. I want to make sure that I don't leave the toy in my dog's mouth long enough to get the chewing or tugging or anything else that might be a likely choice for your dog. Okay, so I'm going to jump right to that, that next one. Oh. So you'll see here, if you look down, Pepper's getting it with the paper towel roll, and then I pull one out, a different one. There we go. So now I'm trying a different item. There we go. That's the item. So that made it a little bit
Now
easier
try
for
something
Pepper to
different. So
want
often,
to grab it.
Something that your dog is not used to. Yeah.
So I want to be a little bit careful there.
The first thing I want her to know is that I want her to put her mouth on it. Good. So, and it's the second that she opens her mouth over it, that's when I click. You can also say the word yes if that's what you have available to you. If you don't have a clicker, don't worry. Using yes. The word yes is also good. So that's step one. Step one is to get your dog to move towards the item and open their mouth. And ideally put their mouth on it. And that's step by step. If you're having some hard times with that, then you really just want to remove the toy, remove the item, and take a break and come back to it later. Maybe even try a different trick instead. But then you can come back to it later. And now she has practiced this a little bit with me before, not with the items that I have. These are actually, this toy is one of my puppy class reserved toys, so she's not familiar with it. But of course it is a Nylabone, so she is a dog. So now I want to encourage her to hold it in her mouth longer.
Okay. All right, so that is basically what we want to do. So just a little recap. The first step, they're coming close to it. I'll be my little dog mouth this way. It's probably a little bit easier to visualize. So this is your dog's mouth. They're coming close to it. We're going to mark and reward that. So every movement they make towards it, yes and click, and treat. Yes, click, yes or click, and treat. Every move they make towards it. And then once we have that, and you might even take a break and play a little tug with them with a different toy, not the item that you're trying to get them to grab, a different toy. You'll play tug with them or something of that kind, or maybe a game of find it, as long as you don't fill them up too much, but tiny little treats are okay, Rice Krispie size. And then the next step, open mouth as they bring through, or bring over an open mouth, and you're clicking the second that you see the mouth opening. So you don't even have to wait till it's all the way open and on. Just as soon as you start to see those lips parting, that's the perfect time to click or say yes. I promise you that. So as soon as you see that, and then you'll graduate to the mouth on, and then you'll graduate to your dog holding, and you releasing your hand a little bit. And then we will go from there to holding it longer and longer. And end result is your dog is going to have to hold it in their mouth, walk with it, and then release it into a basket or toy box. Okay, so that's cleanup. And yeah, I'm gonna end this right here, and I'm gonna make another video for our off and leave it, cookie on paw, cookie on nose. So I will come back to that. Okay, great guys. And don't forget to check in with us and visit us tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Please come and hang out with us. Tell us about your dog, about your puppy, new rescue. Tell us how wonderful they are, or what your questions are. We are there to answer your questions and have a good time. Talk dog. We're just going to talk dog, our whole team. So you will have our team with you, and we'll have lots of fun. Bring a glass of wine if you like, that's okay too. We're just gonna enjoy ourselves, and we will answer questions. So it's a free question and answer session with our whole trainer team, as well as show off your dog. Let's have some fun, let's socialize. Thanks guys, and check out my next video on off and leave it for cookie on paw and cookie on nose, or the early tidbits of it. Bye. See you again later. Jen from Positive Plus Dog Training.